What's up, everybody? All right, today guys, I'm going to be building an amp rack right here in this back area. As you can see, I've already cut it out. The insulation lining, whatever it is, it's right here on the ground. It's kind of a pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie. As long as you have the right scissors. I used a razor blade to cut the plastic and then used some scissors to cut the insulation stuff. I would say it is pretty good though. I mean, it seems pretty thick. Anyways, so we're gonna put an amp rack. I already cut it out, and I'm gonna use some nail glue to put it on these flat spots right here all the way around. I made it like 3 feet wide, enough room for the amp, the LC2, these things, and whatever else I decide to add later on down the road. Yeah, so let's get into it. So the first thing you guys are gonna want to do is obviously remove the seat, which I've already done a lot of the process before I decided to start filming it. There's a couple bolts right here on this side, 2 on that side, one right here and one right there. Or sorry, one right there and one right there. Because you want to remove this seat belt right here. Make sure you remove that. There's a couple more bolts, 4 more right here, and then 2 more down there at the other end. And then this right here is where the 2 seats meet. These 4 bolts right here. So there's actually 2 more screws that connect these the seats together themselves. So it'll be like one right here and then one a little further up on the brackets. So make sure you remove those, otherwise the seat's going to be really heavy to pull out. But after you go ahead and get that seat out, I just went ahead and razor blade around the edge after I decided how long I wanted it. Oh, actually, another thing I did was I removed the piece right here and then popped this out a little bit just so I can access this area better. And I kind of lined it up to where this piece still sits in this cushion area. So just to minimize any rattling, I didn't want to rip the whole thing out because I could see that this puts pressure on this. So I didn't want this plastic to rattle with the base. So yeah, and then after I did that, I removed everything else. I already cut the board out. I painted it black. Now I'm gonna remove all the wiring from the amp, LC2, power capacitor, and then my little power splitter. So this here is my board. I cut it 13 inches tall from the bottom to the top, and then I'm having it 36 inches wide. This is basically the marking where that buckle is at because it scraped it when I test fit it, which is fine. So I just know not to put anything from here up to there and around. So that's fine. So I'm going to put the power converter right here, or the capacitor right here, LC2, and then I'll put the amp on this side. Then I'll just run the wires through this, keep it clean. All right, so here's what I have. I have the power capacitor, my LC2, power splitter, and my amp. And I think this is where I'm replacing everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and screw some holes into it, or screw some screws into it, whichever, drill some screws into it, or whatever, however you want to word it. And then get everything supported, wire it all up, and then get it put in my truck. All right, so I just want to show you guys real fast. I have these little spacers, basically, repurposing them. I think they came from like a TV mount or something, but they're small enough to slide up under the amp to give it a gap. That way the airflow can flow up underneath the amp. Also, I'm going to be installing a fan. I'm going to pick up like a computer fan, like one of those bigger ones. And then put it in this area to kind of help keep it cool because it is going to be behind the seat of my Silverado. So I don't want it to like overheat and damage anything. So I'm at least going to put a fan back there to help like circulate the air a little bit better. But these little spacers, they'll help out if you have any laying around, just kind of repurposing them. Yeah, that'll work just fine. I'll show you right now. All right, so this little guy right here, just put him under there. Gives it that nice gap all the way underneath. All right, so there we have it. Basically, negative remote power ran through. Apparently my remote, or my ground wire is a little short, so I kind of had to do a little cut through. I don't really like how it looks. But anyhow, power wires, capacitor, LC2, everything's hooked up except for this little remote wire guy. Because I have the remote wire in the truck to still connect. This is just the remote from this to this. Other than that, yeah, let's go ahead and get it in, see what it looks like. Just so you know, yes, everything is bolted down. Everything is bolted down. So, that's how it looks. Alright guys, here's the board, or the amp rack. I put the liquid nail on the back right here. Just put it in the sections that bump out where the wood's gonna reach. And then now I'm just gonna put it on the back and put this bolt into place because it actually holds this guy and it puts pressure on the back of the board, so I won't have to use anything to keep it stuck to it. So I'll just utilize that. So yeah. All right, there it is. I have my amp rack in. I'm just gonna wait for the glue to dry. Yes, I do know there's a wrench there. It's jammed in between here to help keep this stuck to that until the glue cures. I use liquid nail just in case you're wondering, and if I did not say it before. Now I just need to run the wiring to the amp from the subwoofers, reconnect my ground wire, a little baby power wire supply for now. At least I have a thick ground wire, so you can't clown on me for that. Other than that, seems like it's all good. I kind of like how it looks for the most part. Some of the wires are longer, like these RCA cables are a little bit longer. They're 3 feet, but it's still a little long for this thing, so I'll have to order some shorter ones. Obviously thicker wire as I go. Just have this for now. This wire right here is actually doubled up. I know it looks like one going in, but there's actually two of those 8-gauge wires going in there, two coming out, 2 8-gauge wires going into the amp, 4-gauge for the ground, 0-gauge for the ground to the capacitor. This is also this 4-gauge as well. Eventually I'll be beefing up the wire so I can get better output out of it. Also another battery. I'll be needing another battery, that's for sure. Other than that, what do you guys think? I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's completely done and going. All right, there you have it. Everything is up. The board is in. It's good to go, nice and solid. The only thing I really have to do is just come through and zip tie a few random wires here and there, ones I can. Some of them are a little pull tight. Other than that, everything is good. There you go, just to give you a little bit of a better look. All right, so now let's go ahead and get the seat back in and call it a day.